The rain hammered against the warehouse windows like bullets, each drop a percussion in the symphony of the storm. Maya Reyes stood at the edge of the loading dock, cigarette smoke curling from her lips into the damp night air. At 28, she'd already lived 3 lifetimes, each one harder than the last. "Boss?" "The shipment's ready," Carlos called from inside. His voice echoing through the cavernous space. Maya didn't turn around. She was thinking about the girl from the coffee shop. The one with honey-colored hair and eyes that looked like they'd never seen anything cruel. The one who'd smiled at her this morning like Maya was just another customer. Not the leader of the Serpientes, not someone with blood on her hands, Maya. Carlos's voice was more insistent now. She flicked the cigarette into a puddle and turned. "Let's get this done." 3 hours earlier, Maya had walked into Sunrise Cafe for the first time in months. She usually sent someone else too many eyes, too many risks. But today she needed to get out, needed to remember what normal felt like. That's when she saw her. The barista had been struggling with the espresso machine. Her face scrunched in concentration, a smudge of coffee grounds on her cheek. When she finally got it working, she had looked up with such genuine joy that Maya had actually smiled back without thinking. "First time?" the girl had asked, wiping her hands on her apron. Her name tag reads Sophie. "At this place?" "Yeah, well, welcome. I'm still kind of new too, been here 3 months. What can I get you?" Maya had ordered black coffee, nothing fancy. But Sophie had insisted on making her something special. "You look like you could use something sweeter than your life probably is," she'd said with a wink. The cappuccino had been perfect. So at the way Sophie's nose crinkled when she laughed. Now, back in the warehouse, Maya shook off the memory. There was no room for soft things in her world. She'd learned that lesson at 15 when her father was killed, when she'd had to choose between running or rising. She'd chosen to rise, clawing her way to the top of the gang that had killed him, taking it over, reshaping it. The Serpientes were hers now. Everything was hers. But standing in this cold warehouse, Maya couldn't shake the warmth of Sophie's smile. Sophie Chen wiped down the last table, humming to herself. The cafe was finally empty and she could close up. It had been a long day, but a good one. She'd made that intimidating woman smile this morning, the one with the sharp cheekbones and darker eyes she'd ever seen. There had been something sad about her, something lonely. Sophie believed everyone deserved kindness. It was why she volunteered at the community center, why she always gave money to the homeless man on the corner, why she still believed in happy endings despite everything. Her phone buzzed. A text from her roommate Lily, working late at the hospital. "Don't wait up." Sophie locked the cafe door and started the 15-minute walk to their apartment. The rain had stopped, leaving the streets slick and gleaming under the streetlights. She loved this neighborhood, even though Lily constantly worried it wasn't safe enough. She was 3 blocks from home when she heard the shouting. 2 men were fighting in an alley, their voices sharp with anger. Sophie knew she should keep walking, but one of them looked young, barely 20. The other was bigger, meaner. "Please, I'll get you the money," the younger one was saying. Too late for that. Sophie saw the flash of metal. Without thinking, she screamed, "Stop! I'm calling the police." Both men looked at her. The bigger one swore and ran. The younger one collapsed against the wall, clutching his side. Sophie rushed over. "Oh God, are you okay?" "Let me call an ambulance." "No." The young man grabbed her wrist. "No ambulances. No police, please." "But you're hurt. I know someone. Just help me get to the corner of 5th and Main. Please." Something in his desperate eyes made Sophie agree. She got into his feet, his arm around her shoulders, and they stumbled through the streets together. He was heavy and she could feel something wet seeping through his jacket. When they reached the corner, a black SUV was already waiting. The door opened and the intimidating woman from the cafe stepped out. Sophie's eyes widened. "You?" Maya's expression went from shock to fury in an instant. "What the hell did you do to him?" "Nothing. I helped him." "Someone attacked him? Get him inside." Maya barked at the men in the SUV, then her eyes fixed on Sophie again. "You, get in." "What?" "No, I need to go home. You just saw something you shouldn't have." "You know who I am?" Sophie shook her head, confused and scared. "Good, let's keep it that way. Get in." Sophie's instincts screamed at her to run. But something in Maya's eyes, something familiar from the cafe, made her comply. She climbed into the SUV. They drove in silence for 10 minutes. Sophie kept glancing at Maya, who stared straight ahead, jaw clenched. The young man was in the back, being tended to by another man. Finally, they pulled up to a large building that looked like an office complex. Maya led Sophie inside, through a series of corridors, into what appeared to be a medical facility. "Doc will check you out," Maya said. "I'm not hurt. You have blood on you." Sophie looked down at her cafe uniform. She did. A kind-looking older woman in scrubs examined her gently. "You're fine, dear. Just shaken up." When the doctor left, Sophie found herself alone with Maya in a small waiting room. "Why did you help him?" Maya asked finally. "Because he needed help." "You don't even know him. Does that matter?" Maya studied her for a long moment. "In my world?" "Yes. What is your world?" "One you need to stay out of." Maya stood. "Someone will drive you home." "Forget this happened. Forget you saw me. I can't just forget. You have to." Maya's voice was hard, but her eyes were conflicted. "People who get involved in my life don't end well. So do yourself a favor, Sophie from the coffee shop. Pretend tonight never happened." Sophie stood too, drawing herself up to her full height, which was still several inches shorter than Maya. "You know what I think? I think you're not as scary as you want people to believe." Maya's laugh was bitter. "You have no idea what I'm capable of." "Maybe not. But I know what I saw this morning. Someone who looked like they wanted to remember how to smile." Sophie walked to the door, then turned back. "Thank you for making sure I was okay. Even if you pretended you were threatening me." After Sophie left, Maya sank into the chair and put her head in her hands. This girl was going to be a problem. A beautiful, innocent, dangerous problem. 3 days passed. Maya threw herself into work in new territory dispute. Problems with a rival gang, the usual violence and negotiations that made up her life. But every morning, she found herself thinking about honey-colored hair and a smile that didn't know how to be anything but genuine. She lasted until Thursday. Maya walked into Sunrise Cafe at 7 a.m. when she knew it would be quiet. Sophie was behind the counter and her face lit up when she saw Maya. "You came back," Sophie said, and she sounded genuinely happy. "Don't read into it. I just needed coffee." "Uh-huh." Sophie started making a cappuccino without asking. "How's your friend?" "The one who was hurt." "He's fine." "Stupid, but fine." "I'm glad." Sophie slid the coffee across the counter. "This one's on me." "I can pay." "I know. But I want to do something nice for you." Maya looked at her, really looked at her. Sophie wore a yellow dress under her apron, and there was a small sunflower pin on her collar. Everything about her was bright and warm. Everything Maya wasn't. "Why?" Maya asked. "Why what?" "Why are you nice to me?" "You know what I am." "I know what you do, maybe." "I don't know who you are." Sophie leaned on the counter. "Want to tell me?" "No, okay." Sophie smiled. "But the offer stands. Anytime you want to be just another customer, just another person having coffee, you can be that here." Maya left without another word, but she came back the next day. And the day after that, each morning, they talked a little more. Sophie told her about her volunteer work, about growing up in Oregon, about her dream of opening an art studio someday. Maya said less, but she listened. God, did she listen? Sophie's voice was like music, full of hope and lightness that Maya had thought was extinct. "What about you?" Sophie asked one morning, 2 weeks into their daily encounters. "What did you want to be?" Before I became a monster?" "You're not a monster. You don't know what I've done." "You're right. I don't. But monsters don't drink cappuccinos with excessive foam because they're secretly fond of it." Sophie grinned. "Yeah, I noticed." Maya felt something crack in her chest. "I wanted to be a teacher. History." "Really?" "My mom was a teacher. She died when I was 12. But I loved the way she talked about the past, how everything connects." Maya couldn't believe she was saying this. "Seems like a lifetime ago. It's not too late. Yes, it is." Maya stood. "Some doors close, Sophie. And they don't open again." But the next morning, Maya was back. And the morning after that, Sophie knew she was playing with fire. Lily had noticed the change in her, the way she hummed more, smiled more, checked her phone hoping for. What? Maya didn't have her number. They only existed in the cafe and those stolen morning moments. You're falling for someone, Lily said one night over pizza. I'm not, please. I've known you since college. You get this look. Who is she? Sophie wanted to deny it, but Lily knew her too well. It's complicated. Good complicated or bad complicated? I don't know yet. The truth was, Sophie couldn't stop thinking about Maya. About the sadness in her dark eyes, the way her shoulders relaxed just slightly when she walked into the cafe, the rare smiles that felt like gifts. Sophie knew Maya was dangerous, knew she was involved in things Sophie couldn't even imagine, but she also saw something else. Someone who was lonely. Someone who was trying. One Friday night, Sophie was working late inventory when someone knocked on the cafe door. It was almost 10 p.m., long past closing time. She looked up to see Maya standing outside in the rain. Sophie unlocked the door. Is everything okay? Maya looked different, vulnerable. Can I come in? Of course. Maya stepped inside, water dripping from her leather jacket. I shouldn't be here, but you are. Someone died today. One of my guys. He was 19. Maya's voice was hollow. His mom came to see me. She didn't yell, didn't cry. She just asked me to tell her that her son mattered. That his death meant something. Sophie reached out, took Maya's cold hand. What did you tell her? I lied. I told her he was a hero. That he saved someone. Maya's eyes were dry, but Sophie could see the pain. Truth is, he died for nothing. For a few blocks of territory. For my pride. Maya, I'm so tired, Sophie. I'm so tired of being this person. Sophie pulled her into a hug, and Maya stiffened for a moment before wrapping her arms around Sophie and holding on like she was drowning. They stood there in the dark cafe, rain drumming on the windows. Two people from completely different worlds clinging to each other. When Maya finally pulled back, there were tears on her cheeks. Sophie wiped them away gently. You don't have to be alone in this, Sophie whispered. You don't know what you're saying. Then tell me. Tell me the truth, all of it. And Maya did. She told Sophie about her father's death, about taking over the Serpientes, about the violence and the deals and the blood. She told her about the kids she tried to protect, the community center she funded anonymously, the school she kept drug-free. She told her about the monster she'd become trying to survive. Sophie listened to all of it. And when Maya finished, Sophie said, You're not a monster. You're someone who made impossible choices and is trying to live with them. You should run from me. I should do a lot of things. But I'm not running. Sophie took Maya's face in her hands. I see you, Maya, not the gang leader, you. Maya kissed her. It was desperate and gentle and terrifying. Sophie kissed her back, tasting salt and rain and something that felt like hope when they broke apart. Maya pressed her forehead to Sophie's. This is a mistake. Probably you could get hurt. I could get hit by a bus tomorrow. Life doesn't come with guarantees. I don't know how to do this. How to be normal. Good thing I'm patient. Sophie smiled. We'll figure it out. They tried to keep it secret. Maya would come to the cafe in the mornings. And occasionally, Sophie would visit Maya's penthouse apartment late at night, always careful. Always watching for anyone who might see Dot. It was Sophie's idea to have actual dates. We can't just hide forever, she said. I want to take you to dinner. I want to hold your hand in public. Sophie, it's not safe. Then we'll go somewhere your people don't go. Somewhere we can just be two people who like each other. They compromised. Maya took Sophie to a small Italian restaurant an hour outside the city. No one knew her there. They could be normal. Sophie wore a green dress that made her eyes shine. Maya wore slacks and a button-down, feeling awkward and underdressed until Sophie whispered, You look beautiful. Over wine and pasta, they talked about everything and nothing. Sophie's favorite books. She loved poetry, Maya's secret love of old movies, film noir naturally. They laughed, really laughed, and for a few hours. Maya forgot about the weight she carried. Dance with me? Sophie said when the restaurant's small band started playing. I don't dance. Liar, everyone dances. Sophie stood and offered her hand. Maya let herself be pulled onto the tiny dance floor. Sophie's arms around her neck, her own hands on Sophie's waist, they swayed to the music. Other couples danced around them and no one cared. No one was watching. They were just two women in love, in love. The thought struck Maya like lightning. She was in love with Sophie Chen. What are you thinking? Sophie asked, looking up at her. That I'm in trouble. Good trouble or bad trouble? Maya kissed her forehead. The best kind. But reality came crashing back soon enough. Carlos called at midnight there'd been a shooting at one of their clubs. 2 dead, 5 wounded. Maya had to go. I'm sorry, she told Sophie as she threw on her jacket. It's okay, go, do what you need to do. I'll call you, Maya. Sophie stopped her. Be careful, please. Maya kissed her hard and fast. Always. The scene at the club was chaos. Police, ambulances, witnesses giving statements. Maya's lawyer was already there handling things. The Diablos, their rival gang, had made a move. This is war now, Carlos said. Maya looked at the blood on the sidewalk, the sheet-covered bodies. More death. More mothers who would ask if their sons mattered. No, she said. Boss, no war. We negotiate. They killed our people, and if we retaliate, they kill more of ours, we kill more of theirs, and it never ends. Maya's voice was steel. Set up a meeting tomorrow, neutral ground. We end this. Carlos looked shocked, but he nodded. You've changed. Maybe I'm just tired of being predictable. The meeting was tense. Ricardo Diaz, leader of the Diablos, was a hard man with a reputation for violence. But Maya came prepared. She'd done her research, found out what Ricardo really wanted: legitimacy. His daughter was getting married, and he wanted to walk her down the aisle without looking over his shoulder. What if we could both get out? Maya proposed. Gradually. Legitimize our operations. No more turf wars, no more bloodshed. We split the city, we keep the peace, we build something better for what comes next. Why would you want that? Because I'm tired. Aren't you? Ricardo studied her. You got someone. Someone making you soft. I got perspective. There's a difference. They talked for hours. In the end, they agreed to a truce. Not peace that would take time, but a ceasefire. A chance that Maya called Sophie at dawn. It's done. We're not going to war. You negotiated? I negotiated. I'm proud of you. Those 4 words meant more to Maya than any victory she'd ever won. For 3 months, Maya and Sophie built something fragile and beautiful. They stole time together, created a world within the world. Sophie helped Maya see beyond the gang, beyond the violence. Maya showed Sophie strength she didn't know she had, but secrets have a way of coming out. It was Lily who figured it out first. She'd noticed Sophie's late nights, the way she smiled at her phone, the distance growing between them. She followed Sophie one night to Maya's building. Are you insane? Lily confronted Sophie the next morning. Do you know who that woman is? I know exactly who she is. She's a gang leader, Sophie. She's dangerous. She's more than that, is she? Because from what I've read, she's responsible for multiple deaths, drug trafficking, extortion. She's trying to change. People like that don't change. They drag you down with them. Lily was crying now. You're my best friend. I can't watch you destroy yourself for someone who will only hurt you. Sophie wanted to argue, but doubt crept in. Was she being naive? Was she seeing what she wanted to see instead of what was real? She talked to Maya about it that night. Lily's not wrong, Maya said quietly. They were on her balcony, the city spread out below them. I have done terrible things. I probably will again. That's the life I chose. But you said you wanted to change. Wanting and doing are different things. The Serpientes need a leader, Sophie. If I go soft, if I step down, someone worse takes over. Someone who won't negotiate, who won't protect the neighborhood kids, who won't care about anything but power and money. So you're trapped. We're both trapped. Me and my world, you trying to save me from it. Maya turned to her. Maybe Lily's right. Maybe you should walk away before this gets worse. Is that what you want? What I want doesn't matter. What's safe for you does. Sophie grabbed Maya's hand. I'm not leaving. But I need you to promise me something. What? Promise me you'll keep trying. Keep negotiating instead of fighting. Keep building that way out, even if it takes years. Promise me this isn't all there is. Maya wanted to promise, but the words stuck in her throat. Because she didn't know if she could keep that promise. The gang life had rules, expectations. You couldn't just decide to be good and have it work. Before she could answer, her phone rang. Carlos, his voice urgent. We got a problem. Someone's trying to take you out. The threat was real. One of Maya's own lieutenants, a man named Torres, had been secretly meeting with the Diablos. He wanted Maya out, wanted to take over and return to the old ways, more violence, more drugs, more money. We can handle him, Carlos said. Quietly. Maya knew what that meant. An execution. Quick, clean, a message to anyone else thinking of betraying her. No, Maya said. Boss, he's planning to kill you. I said no. We bring him in, we talk to him, we find out who else is involved. And then? And then we figure out if there's a way to resolve this without more blood. Carlos looked at her like she'd lost her mind. He betrayed us. He broke the code. There's only one response. Then maybe the code is wrong. The confrontation with Torres happened at the warehouse. Maya had him brought in, surrounded by her people. He was defiant, angry. You've gone soft, Torres spat. You're not fit to lead anymore. You're right. I have changed. Maya stepped closer. I've realized there might be another way, but you? You're so stuck in the old way that you can't see anything else. The old way kept us alive. The old way is killing us. Slowly but surely. How many of our people have died this year alone? How many families have we destroyed? Maya looked around at the gathered members. I'm offering something different. A chance to build legitimate businesses, to protect our community without destroying it. But if you can't see that, if you want the old way back, then leave. Walk away, I won't stop you. The room was silent. Torres laughed. You think it's that easy? You think I can just walk away? Why not? I'm giving you a chance. More than you were going to give me. Torres stared at her, then at the others. Finally he said, This isn't over. Yes, Maya said quietly. It is, you're out. Take whoever wants to follow you. Start your own thing if you want. But you come after me or mine again, and there won't be another chance. Torres left with 3 others. Most stayed. Carlos pulled Maya aside afterward. You know he's going to be a problem. Maybe, but at least I gave him a choice. At least I tried something different. Because of her. The cafe girl. Because of me, Maya corrected. I was tired of being a monster long before I met Sophie. She just reminded me I don't have to be. That night, Maya went to Sophie's apartment for the first time. Sophie opened the door, took one look at Maya's face, and pulled her inside. Tell me, Sophie said. Maya told her everything, the betrayal, the confrontation, the choice she'd made. I don't know if I did the right thing. Carlos thinks I'm weak. Torres will probably try again. But I couldn't. I couldn't just kill him. Not anymore. Sophie held her. You did the right thing. Maybe not the smart thing for a gang leader, but the right thing for a human being. What if it costs me everything? Then we figure out what comes next, together. They made love that night, slow and tender, and Maya felt like she was shedding a skin she'd worn too long. In Sophie's arms, she wasn't the leader of the Serpientes. She was just Maya, just a woman falling in love. Torres made his move 2 weeks later. Not against Maya directly, but against the thing she'd started to care about most, Sophie. The cafe was vandalized. Windows smashed, hateful words spray-painted across the walls. Sophie arrived that morning to find police everywhere and the owner in tears. Maya got the call and arrived within minutes. She looked at the damage, the slurs painted across the door, and felt rage like she hadn't felt in years. Torres, Carlos confirmed. He left his mark. He wants you to know. Maya's phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. How much is she worth to you? Find him, Maya ordered. Now, but Sophie grabbed her arm. Don't. He came after you, and if you retaliate, it gets worse. This is exactly what he wants. To pull you back in, to make you the person you're trying not to be anymore. I can't just let this go. I'm not saying let it go. I'm saying don't let him control your response. Sophie's voice was steady despite the fear in her eyes. You told me you wanted to be different. Prove it. Maya wanted to argue, wanted to give in to the violent instincts that had kept her alive this long. But Sophie was right. She made calls instead. To the cafe owner offering to pay for all repairs and lost business. To community leaders organizing a neighborhood cleanup. To reporters framing it as senseless vandalism that the community would overcome together. Torres had wanted Maya to come after him with violence. Instead, she buried him with kindness. The neighborhood rallied. People showed up to help clean and repaint the cafe. The owner, moved by the support, kept Sophie on despite the attack. The story made local news not about gangs, but about community resilience. Torres looked like a coward who picked on an innocent business. Maya looked like someone protecting her neighborhood. You're a genius, Carlos admitted grudgingly. I'm learning, Maya said. Slowly, but Torres wasn't done. If he couldn't get to Maya through Sophie directly, he'd use her another way. He leaked information to a journalist, photos of Maya and Sophie together, details about their relationship. Evidence connecting the cafe attacks to gang activity. The article hit like a bomb. Gang leader's secret romance. Is this woman's life in danger? Sophie's phone exploded with calls. The cafe owner called, panicking. Lily showed up at Sophie's apartment, furious and terrified. This is exactly what I warned you about. Lily shouted. Now your face is everywhere. Your name is connected to her. You're a target. Sophie couldn't argue. She was scared. Not of Maya, but of what being connected to Maya meant. She thought they could keep their worlds separate. Now those worlds had collided catastrophically. Maya called. I'm so sorry. I'm handling it. How? How do you handle this? I'll make a statement. Say you were just someone who was kind to me, nothing more. Distance us publicly. Is that what you want? Silence. Then I want you safe. That's not what I asked. Sophie, tell me the truth, Maya. What do you want? I want you. God help me, I want you in my life. But not like this. Not where you're in danger because of me. Sophie made a decision. Come over. We need to talk. When Maya arrived at Sophie's apartment, Sophie was packing. What are you doing? Maya asked, her heart sinking. I'm not running away, Sophie said quickly. But I can't stay here where everyone knows where I live, where reporters are camped outside. So I'm going somewhere safe for a while. Where? Lily's parents have a cabin upstate. I'm going there until this dies down. Sophie stopped packing and faced Maya. I want you to come with me. Maya blinked. What? 3 days. Just 3 days where we're away from all of this. Where we can figure out what we really want without phones, without the gang, without any of it. Can you do that? Sophie, I can't just leave. Yes, you can. Carlos can handle things for 3 days. You said yourself things are stable. Please, Maya, if this is going to work, if we're going to work, we need time to really talk. Not sullen moments, not hiding in the dark. Real time. Maya wanted to say no. Every instinct told her it was a bad idea. But when she looked at Sophie, at this woman who had somehow seen through all her armor to the person underneath, she couldn't. 3 days. Maya agreed. They left that night, driving north until the city lights faded and stars appeared. The cabin was small and rustic, nestled in the woods by a lake. No Wi-Fi, spotty cell service, just quiet. The first day they barely talked. They cooked together, walked by the lake, sat on the porch watching the sunset. It was like they were afraid that talking might break whatever spell they were under. The second day, Sophie broke the silence. Tell me about your mother. So Maya did. She talked about Elena Reyes, a woman who'd loved history and teaching, and her daughter, who died of cancer when Maya was 12, leaving her with a father who dealt with grief by diving deeper into gang life, who'd made Maya promise to be better than he was, to use her intelligence for good. I've broken every promise I made her, Maya said. Have you? You fund schools, you protect kids, you're trying to change from the inside. Maybe you're keeping your promises in the only way you know how. That's generous. That's true. Sophie took Maya's hand. You're so hard on yourself. You think you have to be perfect or you're a monster. But there's a whole range in between. What if I can't get out? What if I try to go legitimate and someone kills me for it? What if I leave and the Serpian tests fall apart and someone worse takes over? What if you try and succeed? What if you build something better? What if you inspire other people to change too? Sophie moved closer. You can't control everything, Maya. You can only control your choices. And right now, you're choosing to be better. That matters. The third day, Maya woke early and found Sophie already on the porch, sketching in a journal Maya hadn't seen before. Can I see? Maya asked. Sophie hesitated, then handed her the journal. Page after page of drawings, the café, the city, and scattered throughout. Sketches of Maya, Maya laughing, Maya serious, Maya sleeping. All done with such care and detail. You're talented, Maya said, her throat tight. You inspire me, Sophie blushed. That probably sounds cheesy. It sounds perfect. Maya sat beside her. I've been thinking about what comes next, and I want to try. Really try to build a way out. It might take years. It might fail. But I want to try. With you, if you'll have me. That's all I wanted to hear. Sophie kissed her. I'm not expecting you to be perfect. I'm not expecting you to transform overnight. I just need to know you're trying. I am. I promise I am. They spent their last evening at the cabin, sitting by the fire, wrapped in blankets, talking about the future. About Sophie's dream of an art studio, about Maya's secret wish to finish her degree someday. About a life that might be possible if they were brave enough to reach for it. I love you, Sophie said as they prepared to leave the next morning. I should have said it before. I love you. Maya pulled her close. I love you too. Even though I know I shouldn't, even though it's complicated and dangerous and probably stupid. I love you. They drove back to the city, both knowing that the real work was just beginning. But for the first time, Maya felt like she might actually have a chance. The next 6 months were the hardest of Maya's life. And the best, she started slow, working with Carlos to identify which operations could be legitimized. They invested in legal businesses, a security company, several restaurants, property management. It wasn't fast and it wasn't clean, but it was progress. Torres continued to be a problem, attacking their operations, trying to poach members. But Maya refused to engage with violence. Each time she found another way: legal action, community pressure, strategic partnerships. You're rebuilding the whole organization, Carlos observed one day. I'm trying to, Maya agreed. Some of it will always be gray area. But we can be better than we were. Sophie reopened the cafe with new security measures and a silent partner, Maya, though her name was nowhere on the papers. The neighborhood embraced it, turning it into a community gathering space. Sophie started art classes for kids in the back room on weekends. Their relationship stabilized into something real. They stopped hiding completely, not flaunting things, but not pretending they were strangers. Sophie came to some of the Serpientes community events. Maya showed up to Sophie's art classes, sitting in the back and watching her teach. You're good with kids, Maya told her one day. So are you. I saw you helping that boy with his drawing. I don't know what I'm doing. Neither do they. That's why it works. Sophie smiled. You know what I think? I think you'd make a great teacher after all. The idea stuck with Maya. In her spare time, what little she had, she started taking online classes. Just a few credits at first, testing the waters. But it felt right, like she was reclaiming part of herself she buried. Not everything was perfect. There were still threats, still danger. Maya still had to make hard choices that kept her up at night. But Sophie was there, steady and patient, reminding her why she was fighting. One night, 8 months after they met, Maya took Sophie back to the Italian restaurant where they'd had their first date. I wanted to do this properly, Maya said, holding Sophie's hands across the table. The first time, I was still pretending I could keep you at arm's length. But I can't. I don't want to. What are you saying? I'm saying move in with me. I'm saying let's stop pretending this is temporary. I'm saying... Maya took a deep breath. I'm saying I want a future with you. However messy, however complicated, I want it. Sophie's eyes filled with tears. Yes, to all of it, yes. They danced again that night, just like they had before. But this time, when Maya held Sophie close, it wasn't bittersweet. It was full of hope, but hope doesn't stop bullets. Torres made his final play on a cold November night. He gathered followers, people who wanted the old ways back, who saw Maya's reforms as weakness. He came for her at the warehouse, the same place where Maya had let him walk away. Carlos called with a warning. They're coming. 20, maybe 30 guys. Torres wants you dead, boss. Get everyone out, Maya ordered. No one needs to die for this. What about you? I'll handle it. Sophie was at the apartment when Maya called. I need you to stay inside. Lock the doors. Don't open them for anyone but me. Maya, what's happening? Torres, he's making his move. Then don't go. Call the police. I have to go, Sophie. These are my people. My responsibility. If I run now, if I hide, everything I've built falls apart. Then I'm coming with you. Absolutely not. You don't get to face this alone. Not anymore. Sophie's voice was firm. We're partners, Maya, for better or worse. I'm coming. Against her better judgment, Maya agreed. She called Carlos to bring protection for Sophie, and they headed to the warehouse together. The scene was tense. Maya's people on one side, Torres and his rebels on the other. Guns drawn, everyone waiting. You can still walk away, Maya called to Torres. No one has to get hurt. You had your chance to walk away, Torres shouted back. You chose her over us. You chose weakness over strength. I chose a different kind of strength. You chose to be soft. I chose to be human. Maya stepped forward, hands visible, no weapon. I chose to remember that there's more to life than power and fear. You can make that choice too. Torres raised his gun. I'm done listening to your speeches. The shot rang out before anyone could react, but Maya didn't fall. Sophie did. She'd seen Torres aim, had moved without thinking, pushing Maya aside. The bullet caught her in the shoulder, spinning her around. Maya caught her as she fell. No, 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 Maya chanted, pressing her hands to the wound. Sophie, stay with me. Everything happened fast after that. Carlos's people returned fire, not killing but disarming. Torres went down with a shot to the leg. Someone called 911. Maya held Sophie, her blood warm and slick. You're going to be okay, Maya whispered. You have to be okay. Sophie's eyes fluttered. Are you safe? Don't talk. Save your strength. Tell me. You're safe. I'm safe. Because of you. You saved me. Maya was crying now, not caring you saw. Just hold on. Please hold on. The ambulance arrived. Paramedics took over, loading Sophie onto a stretcher. Maya climbed in without asking, holding Sophie's hand the whole way to the hospital. In the waiting room, covered in Sophie's blood, Maya finally broke. Carlos found her there, head in hands, shaking. She's in surgery, Carlos said gently. They think she'll make it. She wouldn't have been there if not for me. She wouldn't have been there if Torres wasn't a coward who shoots unarmed women. Carlos sat beside her. This isn't on you, boss. Everything is on me. Then what are you going to do about it? Maya looked up. What? This is the moment, Maya. This is where you decide who you really are. Are you going back to the old ways? Or are you going to keep pushing forward? Maya thought about Sophie's smile, about honey-colored hair and kind eyes. About someone who believed Maya could be better even when Maya didn't believe it herself. I'm finishing what I started, Maya said. No more violence. No more blood. We're going legit all the way. Anyone who doesn't like it can leave. You might lose half your people. Then I lose them. I'm done building my empire on corpses. Sophie survived surgery. The bullet had missed major organs, and while recovery would be long, she'd be okay. Maya didn't leave her side for 3 days. She slept in the hospital chair, ate vending machine food. Held Sophie's hand through the pain and the medications and the nightmares. When Sophie finally woke up clearly, her first words were, did anyone else get hurt? No, just you. Maya's voice broke. God, Sophie, you could have died, but I didn't. Sophie squeezed her hand. And neither did you? That's what matters. You shouldn't have been there. You're right. Next time you face down armed rebels, I'll wait in the car. Sophie managed a weak smile. I'm kidding. Sort of, Lily visited, and to everyone's surprise, she hugged Maya. Thank you for keeping her alive. She saved me, Maya corrected. Yeah, well. She has a habit of saving people. Lily looked at Sophie. But maybe next time you could save someone less dangerous? The recovery was slow. Sophie had to go through physical therapy for her shoulder, and there were days when the pain was bad. Maya was there for all of it. Learning how to change bandages, helping with exercises. Being patient when Sophie got frustrated. "You're good at this," Sophie said one day as Maya helped her with stretches. "At what?" "Caring for people." "You should have been a nurse." "I thought I should have been a teacher. You could be anything you want to be." Sophie winced as her shoulder protested. "That's what I've been trying to tell you." While Sophie recovered, Maya made good on her promise. She started the process of legitimizing everything. It meant cutting ties with certain operations, which lost her some people. It meant cooperating with law enforcement in exchange for immunity on past crimes, which lost her more. But it also meant a chance at something real. Torres was arrested and, facing serious charges, agreed to testify about other criminal operations in exchange for a lighter sentence. His gang fell apart without him. Some joined Maya's restructured organization. Others scattered. 6 months after the shooting, the Serpientes weren't even called that anymore. They were Reyes Security Group, a legitimate business employing many of the same people but doing legal work. Maya still had connections to the old life she couldn't erase decades overnight, but the trajectory was clear. Sophie reopened her art classes, now in a bigger space that Maya helped fund. The community center became a hub for the neighborhood, offering everything from after-school programs to job training. 1 year after they'd met, Maya stood in front of a college classroom as a teaching assistant. She'd accelerated her coursework, driven by a hunger to prove she could be the person her mother had believed in. It was surreal standing there talking about history to students who had no idea about her past. After class, she met Sophie at their favorite restaurant, the same Italian place where they'd first danced. "How was it?" Sophie asked. "Terrifying, amazing." One student asked if I'd ever experienced real violence, and I had to figure out how to answer honestly without telling them everything. "What did you say?" "That I'd seen enough violence to know teaching was better." Maya smiled. They seemed satisfied. "I'm proud of you. I'm proud of us." Maya reached across the table. "We built something, Sophie. Against all odds, we actually built something." "We're still building," Sophie corrected. "This isn't the end. It's just a really good middle." The art studio was everything Sophie had dreamed of. Large windows, north light, walls covered in student artwork. "Chen's creative space," said the sign outside, though everyone knew Maya Reyes was the silent partner. Maya finished her degree and started teaching at a community college specializing in Latin American history. She still consulted for Reyes security, but more and more she was just a teacher. Just someone trying to give back. They bought a house together, a little craftsman in a neighborhood that was gentrifying but not yet lost. They adopted a dog, a rescue pit bull they named Justice. They had game nights with Carlos and his wife, coffee dates with Lily, who'd slowly come to accept Maya. Quiet evenings painting and grading papers. It wasn't perfect. Maya still had nightmares about her past. Sophie still had pain from her shoulder on cold days. There were moments when Maya's old life tried to pull her back. When someone from before showed up asking for help or threatening trouble, but they faced it together. One evening, 3 years and 2 months after they'd met, Maya came home to find candles lit throughout the house. Sophie stood in the living room wearing the green dress from their first real date. "What's all this?" Maya asked. "Close your eyes. Sophie, trust me." Maya closed her eyes. She heard Sophie moving, heard something being set down. Then Sophie took her hands. "Okay, open." Maya opened her eyes to find Sophie kneeling, a small velvet box open in her hands. "I know we've been through hell," Sophie said. "I know it hasn't been easy. I know there are people who think I'm crazy for loving you. But here's what I know for sure. You are the bravest person I've ever met. Not because you were a gang leader, but because you chose to change. Because you chose love over fear, hope over violence, building over destroying. You inspire me every single day. So Maya Elena Reyes, will you marry me?" Maya was crying, but she was also laughing. "I was supposed to ask you." "I know. But I've been patient for 3 years. I was done waiting." Sophie grinned. "So what's your answer?" Maya pulled her up and kissed her, deep and sure and full of promise. Yes, 1,000 times yes. They got married 6 months later in a small ceremony at the community center. Carlos was Maya's best man. Lily was Sophie's maid of honor. Students from both their classes attended, along with half the neighborhood. During their first dance, Sophie whispered, "Remember when you said some doors close and don't open again?" "I remember." "You were wrong. Doors can always open. We just have to be brave enough to push." Maya held her closer. "You make me brave. You were always brave. I just reminded you." They danced, two women who'd found each other across impossible divides. A gang leader and a barista. Shadow and light. But really, they were just Maya and Sophie, two people who'd chosen love even when it was terrifying. Who'd chosen each other even when the world said they shouldn't, and that choice, repeated every day in small ways and big ones, made all the difference. Later that night, alone in their house, Sophie pulled out her journal and started sketching. Maya watched her, this woman who'd somehow seen through all the armor to the person underneath. This woman who'd taken a bullet for her. This woman who is now her wife. "What are you drawing?" Maya asked. "Us, our story. It's a hell of a story. It's a love story." Sophie looked up, eyes bright. "And love stories are always worth telling." Maya kissed her forehead. "Tell me ours again." "From the beginning." So Sophie did. She told the story of a barista who made cappuccinos with too much foam and a gang leader who didn't know how to smile. She told the story of a warehouse in the rain and a choice to help someone in need. She told the story of two people from different worlds who found each other and decided to build a new world together. And as she spoke, Maya realized that Sophie was right. This was a love story. Not despite the violence and the danger and the impossible odds, but because of them. Because they'd chosen each other anyway. Because sometimes the most radical act is to love someone when the world says you shouldn't. To see the humanity in someone others have written off. To believe in change even when change seems impossible. Sophie finished her story and set down her pencil. Outside, the city hummed with its usual chaos. But inside, in this house they built together, there was peace. "I love you," Maya said. "I love you too," Sophie replied. "Always." And in that moment, in that house, with that woman, Maya knew with absolute certainty that she'd finally found her way home. The gang leader had fallen for the innocent woman. But more than that, she'd let herself be caught. And in letting herself be caught and letting herself love and be loved, Maya had found something she thought was lost forever. She'd found herself.